Hello, my Archeage friends. This is Arid. In-game name is September on the Thunderwing, the Nui, and the public test server. Today I'm going to be playing on the Thunderwing server, and what I would like to do in this video is introduce you all to an amazing new tool introduced by a fellow Archeage player named Morrighan. This tool, basically what it does, it allows you to generate a list of all the resources and materials, and if you so choose, the value of anything that you possibly could want to craft in Archeage. Really cool. So Morrighan has been working on this tool for a long time. She has actually posted this, I believe, in the Archeage forums in the crafting section, and I've actually dropped this link a few times in my Discord as well because it is that cool. I even talked about it on my Twitch streams. It is just that cool. Today she actually got it all updated to accommodate for the crafting changes rolled out in 4.5, and I just have to say this thing is awesome. So this video is going to be about how you can use this tool and what you can expect from it. Okay, so here it is. It is a spreadsheet currently, and so you have a lot of stuff going on, and what I'm going to do is try to explain it all here in just a minute. But before I get to that, I want to tell you what you can do with it. So the way I like to build this thing is it's the ultimate crafting spreadsheet. It will tell you exactly what you need to craft for just about any item in the game. So in the past, you know, I have put videos out myself with my own spreadsheets, and those primarily focused on armor, weapons, and accessories. This spreadsheet does everything from oils to submarines, and it also will do the weapons and armor as well as the accessories. So on top of that, it actually creates a shopping list so you know how much of each item that you need down to the very, very basic raw material like corn or rice, and then it shows you how much of each of those things that you're going to need to build whatever item. So along with the shopping list, this thing will actually show you the materials you need to craft whatever item that you select, along with the prices. That it's optional for you to enter that, but you can enter that and then it will reflect the current crafting costs based off of the values that you put in it. On top of this spreadsheet will break down the labor costs from the very beginning, showing you the total labor you need to craft, again, whatever item that you choose. And the last feature, it actually has an Aranor upgrading calculator here off on the right. I'm not actually going to talk about that in this video because I really want to focus on the mainstay of this spreadsheet. But all that said, there's a lot of stuff this one spreadsheet will do for you. Hashtag mind blown. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you a couple real quick examples of how this spreadsheet works, and really the goal here is to help you understand what's going on and how you may use this spreadsheet yourself. First, Morrighan found a way to make this spreadsheet usable online via Google Docs. That's something that I haven't really had much luck to do with myself, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that here at the end of the video. So all you have to do is head over to the link into the video description and you're good to go. So when the first sheet loads, the main thing to pay attention to is the cell colors. So the cells that are in yellow are selections, and the cells that are in green are optional input. So what I mean by that is the yellow cells, like the ones here in row 21 through 24, these actually have drop-down menus or selection menus that are pre-filled out, and all you have to do is select what you want to craft. And it uses a hierarchical structure, so you select broad and then you narrow it down to the specific item. Now the cells that are in green, that's where you actually could, if you want to, enter the auction house values, and by doing that you'll get an accurate cost to craft based off of what currently is on the auction house. Now it may actually seem helpful if we were to do like I do in some of my other spreadsheets, where you fill out the values on a main sheet and then it just uses those values as you select it. But that really isn't practical for the breadth of this, the scope of this this spreadsheet, because you would have to fill out pretty much every item in existence. So not only that, it's not really the best way for Archeage, because really the values from any item change from day to day, and really honestly hour to hour, and it's going to be different for every region. So Perhaps if Excel or Tryon ever creates an API, so we can just interact directly with the auction house, and then we can do queries to the auction house in real time. But I've asked for that in the past, and they've always told me no. They have something like that in Korea where they have a web page, but for North America, EU, we don't have any such API. So for now, we'll just have to make do with this. So if you want to see the actual value to craft something, again, you do have to fill out those green inputs. And now, again, those are optional, but if you want to see it, you will have to fill those out every time you change an item, which I'll show here in my next couple examples. Okay, so for the first example, let's take a look at crafting something like a scented petal fragment. Now that's the tier 4 a clothing or tailoring oil. So the first thing that I want to do is select a category, and here I'm just going to choose consumable. And then the next step, I need to select pigment and give it a second to load, and then finally I will select the item that I want to craft, which is the scented petal fragment. Now this sheet tells me that I'm going to be using the alchemy skill right here, pretty cool. And then I need 40k proficiency, and I also need a regal alchemy table. Now in the material section, I see that the crafting mats I need to craft my scented petal fragment I'm going to need 8 silver. That's the cost to craft it. That's the gold selection here. I'm also going to need a soft stem pigment, and then 3 dragon essences, 50 poppy and 50 saffron, 10 sparkling shell dust, and 10 chestnuts. That's automatically populated for you. Now, if you want to know how much of those materials are going to cost you, what I can do is just go from my memory here and enter the values off of the auction house in my region. Again, I'm on Thunderwing North America Legacy. If you're on Fresh Start or EU, your prices are going to be different. That's why this spreadsheet is so handy. You can just do it as you go. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put in some values. The soft stem pigment is going to be about 160 gold. 25 gold for the dragon essence stabilizers, 20 silver per poppy, 25 silver for saffron, and 4 silver per shell dust, and about 65 silver for the chestnuts. So I'm going to get all that entered in here, and bam! This thing will tell me that the cost to craft this unit is going to be 265 gold if I were to purchase the mats directly from the auction house. Now if I scroll down here, I can see that my sub-components used to craft the item, here it shows the alchemy progression of needing to craft the small root pigment, the small leaf, and then the soft stem. Along with the labor cost to craft each one of those and the crafting cost in gold, that's the gold crafting cost, not the actual value of the item, rather just the gold or silver amounts that the workbench eats when you craft it. Then finally, the next section over here is what she calls the shopping list, and you know what? I like that name, so we're going to call it the shopping list. That is in this section in columns K through P. Now this will break down every base component that you need to craft an item. So as you can see here, it shows me that I'm going to need cactus, mint, cornflower, lily, clover, green corals, pearls, rose, pepper, and charcoal stabilizers if I was to craft this from scratch and then take it all the way up to the scented petal. So now what you can do is fill out the auction house values in the shopping list section, and then what it's going to tell you is it's going to tell you what it's going to cost you if you were to craft your own tier 1 oil and then take it all the way up to the scented petal fragment, versus like what I did in the other section where I just said I'm going to buy the soft stem, the tier 3. So I'm going to once again fill this out real quick using approximate totals from the legacy server North America. I'm going to fill this out real quick, and I'm going to get a total of 250 gold. Now that's actually cheaper than the 264 gold that we got if I were to just buy the soft stem and craft it from there. But if we return to the subcomponent section, now that I have filled out this shopping list, I can get a quick look at the expected cost to craft and the labor from the subcomponent section, and from there I can determine, okay, so there's this much labor used. Is it better for me not to waste my labor and just buy the soft stem, or should I start from scratch and make it myself? That's what's so cool about this spreadsheet. Very, very cool. Okay, so that's how this works, but I'm going to take a look at one more example. This time, I'm going to look at an Ionad scepter. So the first thing that I'm going to go do is go back up to the yellow selectors here. I'm going to select one hand, scepter, and then finally the Ionad scepter from these drop-down lists. Once again, my shopping list is going to populate, but for now, let's just look at the recipe section. So I see that I need a Delphinod scepter. Now it doesn't list it here, but if you know crafting, you know you're going to need a celestial Delphinod scepter. I also need a transmuter, 78 sunlight essences, 28 Nuri forest lumber, 84 Archeage ingots, and 1 Ionad weapon scroll. And I can go through this real quickly here, plugging in standard values and get a quick cost to craft value. And so what I'm going to do is throw in 4K for the Delphinod scepter. That's give or take, depends on your server. It's going to be about 85 gold for a transmuter. Right now, sunlight essences are really cheap, like 7 gold each on Legacy. I'm going to say about 330 gold for the Nuri forest lumber, and Archeage ingots are really up there, like 11 gold each. And then I'm going to throw in like 150 gold for the Ionad scroll. And then that's going to tell me I've got about 15K in this scepter. Pretty cool. Now, if you want to craft everything yourself, like starting out at the very basic illustrious and then go up, you can use the shopping list here on the right. I'm going to pause this video real quick because I want to fill out those values just to show you the difference. And now we're back, so you can see the total cost to craft this if I were to start from scratch. And then you can compare that in the crafted material section by looking at all the stuff that you would have to craft yourself and all the labor you would use. I mean, it's like 14,000 labor. And then to say, hey, is it worth it going from scratch, or should I just buy the Delphinod scepter or any of the other oils or anything else that I'm going to be needing? Really cool. Love it. Okay, so that's pretty much how this spreadsheet works. And like I said, I didn't cover the Aranor upgrading costs because it's not really the best part of this spreadsheet, but you can play with it if you like. I think Morrighan did just a phenomenal job with this spreadsheet because it has almost every single thing that you can craft. And I'm also very happy that she asked me, of all people, to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. So those of you who follow me on Twitch probably have already seen a version of this, but she is constantly updating this and adding new features. Like I just noticed today that she had added the Armorsmith house versus crafting through a normal, like, Regal crafting workbench. Also, while I only looked at 2 examples here in this video for time reasons, again, this spreadsheet lists nearly anything that you could possibly want to craft. So it really is like a one sheet to rule them all type of spreadsheet. And before I go, I will say that this spreadsheet, I'll put a link to it in the video description. I'm actually going to link you to a copy that I made of it for the public. But what you want to do, if you're going to use this spreadsheet a lot, is you really need to make a copy of it into your own personal Google Doc account, just like I did. That way, what's going on is, yes, the data is protected, like the other sheets where the database stuff is. That's protected, and you can't change that on this public one. But the cells that you can interact with, like the drop downs and the auction house values, anybody at any time can pop in here and change those values. So, like, let's say you were like me and you are working on filling out all these values for this Ionad scepter I did as an example, and then somebody pops in and they change it to an Aranor scepter. Now, all of a sudden, all those values I had filled out are, they're off. So I really encourage everybody, make a copy to your own Google Doc account, and you can use it 24/7 whenever you want. You don't have to worry about anybody messing you up. And one last thing before I go, what I want to say to you guys is I really, really want to hear your feedback on this spreadsheet. Do you think this is a great tool? Does it work the way you expect? Is there any way that we can make this better? It's actually important for you to speak up on this one, because I am actually currently working with the creator Morrighan, as well as Mark at omnom.io, to make this spreadsheet available to you through a website interface. So what I mean by that is, if I were able to put this onto a website, instead of you having to make a copy of this spreadsheet to use it yourself, the website would actually serve your browser a specific version of it, so it doesn't matter how many people were using it. No one can mess with, each other's spreadsheet or work or whatever. If you guys out there, guys and gals out there, would like to see that as a feature on omnom.io, please speak up. And once again, this is the last thing I promise. Before I go, I want to thank Morrighan once again for asking me to share this with you here on my channel. I'm always willing to help the community in any way possible to make your game experience a little bit better. So if you're out there, like Levectra, who did the regrading cost calculations with me from the public test server, like Morrighan with this spreadsheet, if you're out there and you have your own tool that you would like to share with the community and you would like me to introduce people to it, I am more than happy to help you as well. Just reach out. Links will be in the video description. Well, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you all have found this both helpful and informative. That is the goal. Special thanks to Al Hassan Mohammed on YouTube and Vibes Guys on Facebook for both this intro and outro music. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. Links will be in the video description. If you'd like to support my work, you can do so by becoming a Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or direct donations are accepted through Streamlabs. I'd like to thank my current Patreon, Umokhan Onal, for the continued support. You rock. Also, big shout out to my Twitch subs who make every Friday the bright spot of my week. And finally, I'd like to thank the wonderful supporters who have donated to me over the years: Riot Devil, Mac, Cassandra, Elder, and Wicked Babe. Until next time, this is September, saying be well.